In this video, I got my friend to take me to Bar da Laje. It's an upscale restaurant slash bar in Rio de Janeiro. It's actually in a favela called Vidigal. Vidigal, even though it's a favela, it's right next to an upscale neighborhood named Leblon. Leblon is kind of like the Beverly Hills of Rio de Janeiro. And I say I got her because she was very reluctant to go into the favela. One thing people don't understand, foreigners, tourists don't understand, is most Brazilians don't go in the favelas and don't want to go, don't want anything to do with favelas. And only Brazilians that live in favelas or have family that live in favelas or friends actually go in the favelas. Most Brazilians understand the danger. You know, it's like, just like Americans, why would you go into the worst part of town for no reason? For whatever reason, and I guess because of the epic views, this upscale restaurant is at the top of this favela. I mean, and you get some epic views, and it's good, bring some money into the neighborhood. I don't know what the profit share is like, if that money gets spread around the neighborhood. And it's not cheap, even though it's in a favela. In fact, you're gonna pay probably double the price of what you would normally pay in Copacabana on the beach. For example, a caipirinha here is going to run like 40 or 45 reais. And on Copacabana Beach, you're paying like 15 to 25 reais. And so 40 reais would be $8 as opposed to $3 on the beach, because it's a 5-to-1 reais to dollar ratio. The views are amazing. On this night, there was a bachelor party going on, so that was interesting. But as you will see in most Rio de Janeiro bars, there's a live band playing samba music, and they switch in between a DJ playing different types of Brazilian music. We didn't try any of the food because we had just eaten on the beach. You might have some trouble getting up there because when I Ubered the location, they kept canceling. And I don't think it was so much because it was in the favela. I just think it's hard to maneuver up in the favela. And by the way, Vidigal is not, it's my own personal observation. It seemed like a calm favela. What I noticed, I've been to other favelas, and I noticed that there were a lot of police checkpoints as we were going into the favela. I didn't see police presence in other favelas that I've been to. So there seems to be some law and order in this favela, and it's probably because it's so close to the tourist zone as opposed to other favelas that are further away. And this is just my personal observation, so I could be off. But anyway, the Ubers kept canceling, and I don't think it was because it was a favela and it was dangerous. I think it was because it's hard to maneuver up in those favelas. Like when we finally did get an Uber that accepted the ride, and he drove right up to like the base of the favela, and then it's just like, favelas, obviously they're going up into the hills, up into like the mountainside. So, the roads get narrow, and like we're sitting there in a line of traffic waiting. It's not like a two-way pass. Like there's really only one lane. They allow some cars to pass and go up, and then they kind of stop and wait and allow some other cars to come down in the opposite direction, and they continue with that pattern. So what you will find it's mostly like motorbikes that can easily get up there. So we were waiting. At one point, the Uber just said, it's just too difficult to get in there. So we got out and we took these moto taxis up there, and they can maneuver up there no problem. And I wish I would have recorded. It would have got some good footage, but it was in a favela. It was my first time in this favela, so I wasn't really trying to. You don't want to pull out. You don't want to go into a favela and start recording. That's a no-no. But I don't think it would have been an issue in this particular favela. And obviously I recorded once we got up into the restaurant, but that's a totally different story. That's in a restaurant. Yeah, and like I was saying, my friend, she is very opposed to going into favelas. She's been to favelas, but She does everything she can to stay out of favela. But I twisted her arm and she agreed to go up there. It wasn't her first time up there. She said, I don't go into favelas because I value my life. You know, I want to live to see the next day. And, you know, there's definitely levels to favelas. Some are very hot and some are very calm, and they are not all the same. And I would say Vidigal is a favela that is very calm. Obviously, there's this big tourist, like when you go into this restaurant, it's all tourists in there. Tourists from Brazilians from other cities. When we left this bar, it had to be around 9 p.m. and they were telling us that the baile was starting. So it was probably like a Friday or Saturday night. We walked to where the baile was and there was music going and there might have been a couple other people in there, but it was way too early, you know. So we decided to just leave after that. And we had to take moto taxis back down the hill. And they took us all the way back into Copacabana. So that was pretty cool, pretty interesting. Yeah, maybe that baile gets rolling, you know, as it gets later into the night. But 9 p.m. is way too early for a baile. And I will say, like, unless they bring out more speakers, the sound system isn't. Like, I've been to some crazy bailes with epic sound systems, and like this wasn't even 1% of that. Like, it was nothing in comparison. So maybe I'll return on another night and see what the Vidigal baile is like, but I'll leave that open.